What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the Buy the Hood podcast or webcast, because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. Every show we start off is with gratitude, man. Thank you to everybody who supports us, all of our new shows, especially all the supporters of the Stack Stat to Die Trying That's Fire, all of our members of our private MDC group, as well as Buy the Hood University and the youth from the Buy the Hood Ownership Camp. Camp is coming up this summer, by the way. 10th camp. Corey, what's up, bro? My brother Corey said, what's up, man?
Man, I'm living, so I can't complain, man. Life is good to me. You know what I mean? Like, I get up every day. I get to do whatever I want to do. So I can't complain about too much. Like
that's what it is, man. Listen, man, our podcast, this is our Wednesday podcast. You know, it's about Black wealth and personal finance. That's what we talk about. You know, for those that look at our catalog of content, you know, we used to be heavily focused on guests. And we kind of backed away from that for various reasons, but I have been vetting some guests. Yeah, I'm telling you now, when I vet guests, I'm like, yo, you guys submit statements, and it's not that platform is one of the bigger platforms. It's just that, you know, I feel responsible if we bring somebody in front of you that they are who they say they are. So with that being said, I do got some folks that will be coming on soon, but we're going to continue to have these conversations about Black wealth and personal finance, because these are important conversations, man. Our last show did crazy numbers, audio and the video, and you know, our YouTube channel, we're still trying to build that out, but it did good numbers, man. A lot of folks really enjoyed our last show, and we talked about the racial wealth gap. And someone left a comment on there, which I'm still in their bars, by the way. So we got to stop calling a racial wealth gap, because gaps get filled, and this ain't never getting filled. I said, ooh. I told them in the comments, I said, yeah, this is good as stolen. I'm gonna use this in the speech that I give somewhere. Like, I got like in the next couple months, I got like 4 speaking events.
That joint is good as gold.
Yeah, that bar is mine.
That
like,
belongs to me.
I'm gonna shout you out though. I'm gonna shout you out. I'm gonna figure out what your name is. I'm gonna shout you out. But yeah, that's our bar now. So
deep mode. That's our bar.
That bar stay. It stay. You know what I mean? It'll stay with me, but it's our bar now. How you doing?
Yo, that's crazy, man. It's like Friday.
Yeah. Stay about it. Man, but how you doing, bro? How you doing otherwise, man? Before we get into it, this one, you know,
man,
dude,
listen, man. Again, man, when you living and you just out here just doing life, you know what I mean? Like I ain't even doing nothing crazy. Like I don't got no.
You spend your days hanging with your kid, and I think that's dope. Like that's what life is about, man. You know, we men of a certain age, man. So sometimes, like, staying out the way is enjoyable, man. It really is.
Like, you know, I mean, at certain points, you get tired of playing with a 2-year-old all day, and you know, and a 5-year-old. But you know what I mean? 6, well, he just turned 6.
But guess what? When they get older, they're gonna say, "Yo, like my dad was literally with me." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah. I just, you know. I hang with my young boys all day. Like I don't do nothing.
And you know what? And you know, watch this transition, right? So we talk about family, right? And we talk about us growing or whatever. And our topic for today's show, it's not one of the sexier topics. It's not about like specific, you know, buy this or buy that. Like, but I think it's a conversation we have to have. And that conversation is about like maintaining the wealth that we do build. Whatever little bit of wealth that is, how do we get it? And how to avoid getting scammed, right? So the data shows that more of us out here are getting scammed for the capital we do have. And I think it's important to have this conversation, because we have to start talking about protecting our elders and people in our community, because scams are on the rise, specifically like, you know, digital scams, right?
Everywhere.
Yeah. So I got this article, and for those listening to this, I will put the article in the show notes as well as the description. But I'm going to read an article, right, which is going to set the table for the conversation we're going to have. And this is from Market Watch, right? The title of this article is "How Not to Get Scammed Like the Financial Advice Writer Who Lost $50,000 to Fraudsters. There are a million things I wish I had done differently." Is her quote, right? And this is the article by Vanessa Wong, and it's about a columnist named Charlotte Cowles, who got scammed out of $50,000, right? She writes for the New York Magazine, and she writes about financial advice of all things, right? So let me read a little bit from the article. It says, a financial advice writer is drawing intense criticism and sympathy after revealing that she was scammed into putting $50,000 in cash in a shoebox and giving it to a stranger. But her story is far from unusual, and falling for such scams is increasingly common. So she's a columnist for the New York magazines, and she was a victim of identity theft. And she believed, right? So she was tricked into believing that she was a victim of identity theft and under investigation for federal crimes, and was pressured to withdraw cash for living expenses before her bank account would allegedly be frozen. So she spent several hours on the phone, and she was transferred by a fraudster claiming to be from Amazon, to one claiming to be from the Federal Trade Commission, to one claiming to be from the CIA. First off, before I finish reading more, I get Amazon calls all the time. This is on your Amazon account. Like, I just bang. So that's insane. But let me, give it one more article. She recounted her story in an article that highlighted how even a well-informed, maddeningly rational person can get caught up in a panic that gets stirred up by con artists. She got roasted on X, Twitter, specifically because people were saying, yo, you a finance writer. So to the point where she deleted her account. But experts say rather than criticizing the victim, the public could take away some important lessons from her story. And she says that for every person who's called me an idiot in public, there's been another one emailing me in private to say that happened to her, happened to them as well. So a little data to go with it. Last year, American consumers reported losing more than $10 billion to fraud. And according to the latest numbers from the FTC, up 14% from the previous year. A significant share of $2.7 billion was lost to imposter scams like the one she got caught up in. So to give a couple tips about how to avoid this, I'll just read the tips and I'm not going to go deep into them. One says just get off the phone when they call, verify the identity of the caller, maintain zero trust, don't trust nobody. And that's the pieces of advice they give, man. So think about this, bro. For the New York Magazine, she writes about finance, and they line her up for 50 bands. And I think the reason I think this is an important conversation, Corey, is because I worry about this with other older people in my family because, they're more trusting.
Somebody try to get my mind with this scam, right? Because what they did was they what's the name to her computer? They mirrored her computer. And what they did is her banking information was on there. But they didn't. The thing that wasn't on there was her 2FA passcode.
Got you.
But what they did is that they showed on the screen. They just took the numbers and zeroed them out. So they didn't actually zero out the count. But on the screen, it showed zeros.
It looked like they zeroed it out.
They looked like they zeroed it out. And I was like, damn, they just wiped her whole account.
So it's interesting because it's a cat and mouse game as it pertains to criminals and people trying to protect themselves from criminals. And it's also like a little side note about this whole topic is the reason why cybersecurity is what it is now, man. Get your kids into cybersecurity. That's a sidebar. But specific to this topic, though, I think we have to make sure that we're having these conversations with people in our family, the youngsters as well as the people above us, right? So a lot of times, people say, well, you got to start having the conversations about what happens when someone dies and they get life insurance and you got to do this. I'm like, yo, we got to have conversations about how to protect what we have while we're here. Could you imagine saving up 50 bands in the savings account? Man, could you imagine saving up 50 bands and it just be like this? And the way they got her, I don't know what her remedy is because she took it out in cash and then gave it to him. It's not like they went into her bank account where she can claim, you know what I mean?
That's out of there.
So I don't know, like legally, and I'm not an attorney, I do play one on TV. But anyway, so I'm saying I don't know what her remedy is that way, but that sounds like SOL. And I ain't talking about a crypto.
No, not at all. You ain't talking about no Solana, bro.
Nah, no Solana.
She got manhandled. Damn, in cash?
Yeah, man. So I guess the question I have for everybody watching, are these conversations that you're having amongst all the other ones, right? So we're talking about how to save, how to stay out of debt, all these things. And I guess it can become overwhelming at times, right? I was reading J.L. Collins' new book called Pathfinders. And J.L. Collins is for those who know, is the guy who's a fire writer, part of the fire community. And his newest book is about people that follow his approach. And what I found interesting about that book is, and his approach, by the way, for those who don't know who J.L. Collins is or what I'm talking about, is to just by low cost index funds. Don't even look at the market. And that's, be very simple. His is like, his first book is called The Simple Path to Simple Path to Wealth. His whole thing is about keeping it simple. And the second book is interviewing people that have used his strategies and have had success. So they become millionaires, retire, blah, blah, blah. But one of the overarching themes that I found in a book, listening to people who have success, is, we're professionals doing other stuff. We don't have time for all this finance stuff. We don't have time to be in the weeds looking at charts. We don't have time to be looking up the latest strategy, the budget to pay off that. We need to keep things simple. And that's how most people operate, right? Sometimes, Corey and I, we're in circles where people are like, running algorithms and they got 17 Excel spreadsheets. That ain't the average person though, right? So when you talk about all these things people have to worry about, this is something that falls through the cracks probably a lot of times. It's protecting what you have and how not to get scammed out of what you have. So I'm asking you this question, Corey. I'm asking the audience, but I'm asking you because I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
What are things that you do, not just for yourself, but your wife, your kids, your mother, like your family, to protect them from being scammed? What advice do you give them? What do you do?
Well, the boy that tried to scam my mom, I just kept him on the line. I just called the bank, and I just used her MAC card, or I'm old, but her
you said MAC card. First of all, you old and you from Philly.
Yeah, so I used her debit card. I just looked at the number on the back, called the number on the back, and they was like, "This amount is in her account." I was like, "Okay, so this is a scam."
Mm-hmm.
So that one was an easy one to get out of. But what I tell my family is, you don't give them no personal information over the phone, right? No personal information. So even if you know who they is from, if you call into somewhere, then you can give them personal information. But you never give any personal information to anyone who calls you. So you know what I mean? Like, because if you're calling them, you got some reason to be calling in, you know what I mean? And so if you want to give your personal information on that, you go ahead. But I never give my personal information to nobody that calls me.
Yo, I'm so like paranoid about like being taken to the cleaners, for lack of a better term, that way, that I'm in the process of dealing with a mortgage company now, right? And even when they call me, I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna call you right back. I know it's them. I know their voice because we've been dealing with each other for a little while. But I'm like, yo, I'm gonna call you back. So anytime I get any call like that, like certain stuff, like even like with our business account, like certain times they'll call with a charge with something, like just to verify. But when they call, I don't even take that call. Like the fraud alert, I'll hang up and then call the bank. And they're like, oh, that was us. All right, cool.
Yeah. But, I always call to verify, right? Because I don't. Yeah, if I can't call you, then you automatically out of there. You know what I mean? Like, you automatically out of there. I don't got to deal with you.
Yeah.
I got stuff all over the place. But yeah, if I call you and first of all, if you got a foreign speaking person on the joint, I'm out. Right? And that might sound crazy, but I'm not doing it. So get somebody that's from here, and that person might be from here, but if you got a heavy, thick foreign accent, you getting banged on immediately. Like, you bet not. If you want something from me, you can't get a butt dollar from the Philippines or somebody from, you know what I mean, like or Uzbekistan somewhere. You can't do that to me, because if somebody with a heavy foreign accent called me, that's an auto bang. Like, you're getting banged on.
Yo, so here's the other part about this, right? Go ahead. You can finish. You finish saying.
No, what I'm saying is like I don't answer no emails. Like, if you send me an email like that, I don't respond to the email. I call a number on the John, and then if I don't like what I hear, I'm like, put it on my credit report. If it go on my credit report, I'll deal with it from there. Like, so my credit get banged up. Like, for real. Like, I tell people all the time, like, look, I mean, I don't know who you are and where you from. So if you're not getting nothing from me. So go ahead and stick it on my credit report. If it's there, if I say it on my credit report, then I'll deal with it from there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not dealing with it. You're not going to ever call me and get any money. So you might as well give up.
So here's the other thing, right? And one of the things that I'm like telling my family about is be careful with the text joints, because now they'll just text you with a link or email you with a link, and you click on that link, and next thing you know, your whole life is gone. I've seen people get there. I don't know how the criminals doing it, but they're like so advanced. They'll send you a link. I've seen people who come to me after it happens who's gotten their crypto wallets drained just because they clicked on a link in an email. You know what I mean? Like someone will like send them an email and they think it's legit and click on a link. That's the other thing. When people send you emails, you don't know who they are. Look at who they send it to. A lot of them scamsters, they be sending it to like 600 people at one time. Like, come on, man, stop. Like, I guess, and this is another thing about being a Bitcoiner, and this is not our Bitcoin show, but is one thing I learned through Bitcoin is like trust no one. Like, don't trust, verify. That's one of the running motifs in Bitcoin is do not trust, verify. And that same thing applies to what we're talking about. But be careful with the text messages, the emails. And I guess my theme for this show is, the youngsters and the old heads, like the folks that are elders and our kids, make sure, because some of these kids, man, just clicking on links,
all the time. Like, if anybody call you and ask you for money, just tell them no, I don't know who you are, and to bill me.
Bro, it's so bad now that I don't even answer my phone unless you're in my phone book. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not in my phone, if I don't have your name on my phone, why am I answering your call?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
leave me a message.
Yeah, like, and then like I know where I've been in the last 10 years, right? So if I get a phone call from a state that I ain't been to, I'm not even answering that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because I can't know you. I don't know who you are. Like, if you're called, I haven't been to California in the last 10 years. So I've been to Cali. I just ain't been in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You calling me from Cali?
That fell off your credit report at the 7, right? At the 7, we got.
What do you want? Get out of here, bro. Like, I ain't been to Cali in 10 years. What do you want?
Yeah,
like, get out of here. Like, go beat it. Like, no, I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you any information. They be like, blah, 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 blah. This is so-and-so. Is this Corey King? I'm like, no. Who is this? You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know who
I'm
you
not.
are.
Listen, if you're not in my phone, I'm not even answering the phone. So that's what it is. But my thing is because text me first. Like, let me send a smoke signal, do something, and then I'll hit you back. But yeah, I'm so paranoid about that, man. Like, I read these stories all the time, but this one was interesting because this was a finance writer, someone who teaches other people about finance. And my biggest takeaway is I was looking on Twitter and people was cooking her to the point when she deleted her account. But my biggest takeaway was like, no one's really having these conversations because you also, like, she wasn't lying because within the people cooking her, there was some people like, yeah, my aunt got taken, my grandmom got taken, my great grandma got taken, my nephew got taken. Someone sent him a video he thought was a regular TikTok. He didn't read it right, and it said like tick something else. He clicks on it. They got all his information. Like, it's crazy out here, and I be sitting there thinking like, yo, these are scammers. They be like, next level. Like, if they just apply that to something else.
Why would they though? Like, if
I get it. They probably
out 15,000 videos.
Yo, I get the data, man. They made billions that shit.
If 5 people click on it a day, and you
listen,
clean out 5 people a day, like
what's the number we just read in that article, man? Last year it was in the billions. I know that they said it was in the billions.
Like 10 point something billion.
2.7 billion just to the imposter scams, right? It was 10 billion in fraud overall, but 2.7 just to the imposter scam. So I mean, it's a lucrative business for them. But I'm just thinking about how advanced they are, where folks just click on one link, and next thing you know, they're banking in the wallets. I was like, yo. Anyway, man. With that being said, folks, be careful out there. But the question I have is, what are some tips you have? Because maybe you have some things we didn't think about. What are tips you have to protect not just yourself, but your family and your community?
Don't give nobody no information that call you. You just can't give it to them. Mm-hmm. Call, like you said, don't trust anyone. Verify who these people are. Listen, Google them. If they say they somebody, and you can't Google them, what are they doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing I do. I Google, man, listen, what's your name again? You were from where? I'll Google you in 30 milliseconds. You was like, who are you again?
And the funny thing is, you do that, and the first thing that pops up is scam.
Yeah. I'm
like, damn, it took one Google search. But I guess what they're saying, I guess they're taking the chance that most people ain't going to do that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest. I lost a lot of money in crypto on rug pulls, but I've never been scammed in real life. Like, you can't scam me in real life, like, because I don't really deal with people I don't know. Like, I'm quick to tell somebody throw something on my credit report. Go ahead, be my guest.
So I guess my question is not for you, Core, but for everybody else listening or watching. For those listening or watching, what are some tips that you may have? And also, are you doing anything, to protect your family, having conversations? Are you doing things like purchasing those products where they, kind of put a lock on all your stuff so you can't do anything? Because that's another solution. Actually, pay for
LifeLock ones like that.
LifeLock. Dog, I had LifeLock for a minute, but it got to be annoying to me, dog, where I couldn't even do stuff myself. It had me really on lock. I'm like, yo. Like, I couldn't even make it out.
Yeah, I had LifeLock too. That's it. I traveled. I had LifeLock, and I had went from I think I had went to Jamaica, and I couldn't use my card because I forgot to call them and tell them I was traveling.
They locked everybody out, including me.
Like, I was like, damn. I was in Jamaica. I had to keep calling people for money from Jamaica because I was locked out of my accounts. I'm like, oh man, this is dumb.
So that's the question. That's the question of the week for everybody. What are you doing to protect yourself, your family? Are you taking extreme measures like a LifeLock or something of that nature? And that is not an endorsement of them, by the way. Just telling you our specific stories, our personal stories.
Yeah.
Mine, I was in Home Depot, trying to do something on credit, and they was like, no. So, and I was in the middle of a real estate project, and I'm like, what the? They had me all locked out. I went through this whole process. But anyway, I guess the good part about it is the product worked. It worked two ways. Anyway, not an endorsement though. I just want to know, what are you guys doing? Leave us feedback. Leave us some comments. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTubing stuff. Friday, we're on Friday live, Bitcoin giveaway. This Friday, I'm at the IBB events. I'm trying to figure out how we can make that work. Maybe because I think the IBB event is over at like 7:30. So maybe we get a little bit later or something. We'll talk about it. But generally every Friday, we're on doing our giveaway. So maybe we'll do a little bit later show this week. But with that being said, everyone, listen, please stay safe out here. People are out here scamming. And as we go through these journeys of talking about wealth, being first generation wealth builders, some of us are second generation, not me, but some of us are. We got to protect what we are building. You know what I mean? Like
Samuel L. Jackson is always looking over your shoulder.
Yes. Samuel Dallenberg is out here. Samuel Rothstein, all the scammers out here.
Samuel is everywhere.
Yeah.
Pamela Anderson Lee. Out here.
That's right. All of them are out here. Just definitely be careful. With that being said, though, we appreciate all the support as always. Remember, Monday is Stack Sats at Trying. Wednesday is the By the Hood podcast. Friday is our Friday live. And follow us on all socials at By the Hood, man. But as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see you guys on our next episode. Peace.